Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some pretty crazy news to go cover over here, where once again, we're doing the deep dive into what Phil Spencer has been saying and talking about when it comes to, well, everything. When it comes to the battle with the PlayStation 5, the Xbox, or in theory, they kind of just are kind of thrown in the towel when it comes to their fight and arms race against the PlayStation. And as well, we have some other kind of cool things too in regards to number one, another big reminder for the PlayStation update. This came out right now, and of course as well, maybe a brand new, even bigger game too coming out over here from Warner Brothers following the success of the brand new Hogwarts Legacy, and as well a bit of Dead Island drama. So let's go talk about this, talk about all these other random stories, and let's go and dive into the news where once again, Phil Spencer's really big interview keeps on getting dissected, and it keeps on giving us good old content. So, as you guys probably know, we've been seeing like a really big, negativity in regards now to Xbox. Xbox itself has had Phil Spencer, who has been a pretty, kind of vocal figurehead, because he is the figurehead of Xbox, kind of making some waves and making some conversations. Now, one big thing to kind of go and note is that Phil Spencer has not had the best public reception, especially this past month. But right now, he actually made a really kind of concerning comment over here too, and I want to do a little bit more of a deeper dive into this one. So we kind of maybe touch on this in a video for maybe 5 minutes or so. But one really big thing to note over here is that once again, my camera is on the weird, whatever, just go no webcam, because sometimes I look like I'm a literal ghost. It keeps, I don't know. I think I figured out the issue for this stuff, so don't bear with me in the future. So basically, there's an article over here coming over here from GameSpot saying, there is no world where Starfield is so good that people will sell their PS5s and just bluntly and strangely move to Xbox as a pure standalone console, Phil Spencer, the man himself, says. This is a big one. We are not in the business of out-consoling Sony or out-consoling Nintendo. Basically, it almost kind of seems like they're throwing in the towel and, of course, kind of sticking with their somewhat traditional marketing that we've seen. We saw the all-around vibe where they like Game Pass, they like having new games for Game Pass, they like expanding Game Pass. And, well, that's what they want to do. They want to work in the cloud gaming, they want to get things like Call of Duty, and they realize a lot of their fan-favorite games besides, say, Halo, they're just not as big as people used to be. They haven't had, a big hit in, over a decade for a lot of these games, and that's just how it is. So Microsoft's gaming CEO, Phil Spencer, has commented on the battle between Microsoft and rivals Sony and Nintendo, saying Xbox sits at a very clean third place, and the idea that Microsoft could just make better games to gain market share doesn't hold up. Spencer even said if Starfield is the best game in the history of the world, that wouldn't be enough to help Xbox overtake PlayStation. Now, let me go and do my own little deep dive in this one, because that comment alone has a lot to kind of unpack. Number one is that, yes, it's fine. Microsoft is a huge company, so obviously if they have things on, say, Windows, they want to go and have people on their PCs, so they're using Windows. And as well, how do you maybe get gamers on, say, your PCs, rather say Mac or whatever? Game Pass on PC. Now let's go and say something for consoles. We want to go and have things like an xCloud USB disc on your TVs, or as well Xbox Series S's. You just want to be able to go and expand out the overall ecosystem, kind of what PlayStation's trying to do themselves with VR, with all their other various things, Apple TV technology, stuff like that. But one big thing to note is that I think he's kind of dropping the ball. He kind of goes and says that even if he made the best games on the planet, they would not be enough to help Xbox overtake PlayStation. But I feel like that alone is one of the dumbest comments I've heard. And I get what he's saying, reading between the lines, but I feel like that's all people really want at the end of the day. All I really want at the end of the day is to go and have a chance to enjoy games. I want to be able to go have fun playing games. I would keep Game Pass up if there's games on there that I wanted to play all the time. I myself would go get an Xbox if there was 5 other games that I was really excited for. But for me, I have a PC, so I just stick it on PC Game Pass, and I have a PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch for the exclusives. I'm very excited for Zelda coming out soon. I'm very excited for PlayStation games as well, like Final Fantasy 16, and that's all you really need. That's the main reason why I have these consoles. So it's almost weird to say that Phil Spencer is saying, oh, we don't have these good games, and even if we did make the best games, what's the point, blah, blah, blah. But that's the whole point. The only reason why I'm buying again these consoles is because of that. Now, granted, they always want to stick with the Game Pass. We kind of know it's their business philosophy, but still. Anyway, speaking to kind of funny, Spencer said that Microsoft's goal is not to out-console Sony and Nintendo in terms of sales, which is almost sad. It kind of seems like they're throwing in the towel. Unfortunately for Microsoft, it lost the sales race in the Xbox One PS4 generation, and the company has no hope of making it back to number one console by sales alone, Phil Spencer said. This just seems like a defeatist, kind of sad mentality to go and see. I don't like this. I don't like the idea of this in the first place. We're not in the business of out-consoling Sony or out-consoling Nintendo. There isn't really a great solution to or win for us. And I know that will upset a ton of people, but the truth of the matter is that when you're third place in a console marketplace and the top 2 players are as strong as they are, and in certain cases have a discrete focus on doing deals and other things that make basically be an Xbox hard for us as a team, our vision is everyone on console has a great experience and they feel like a first-class citizen. So basically he's trying to be like, hey, our goal for this one is we just want to end up making up games. We want to make sure we're all good. We want to make sure that we're just having a good experience for our users and kind of going from there, which I can kind of actually respect a lot. He says, I see commentary out there. If you just build great games, everything will turn around. And it's funny because I think he's about to go and insult that. I think that's all you need. At the end of the day, I think if your Xbox is all you need, you'll make some games that people are excited for. Look at Hi-Fi Rush. That game had great reception. People were excited. I re-upped my subscription to Game Pass for that game. Now, they were kind of saying that the sales weren't that good, but once again, it's going to be a big issue if you have Game Pass itself. Like, this is kind of just why it's a big duh. PlayStation do individual game sales well, because guess what? They don't have them on a PS Plus system, and the games are also very good, and the quality and consistency has been very, very high. I can probably say almost every PlayStation game so far has been very good. May not be my genre or cup of tea, but they're always very well. So he also goes and says, it's not just that if we go off and build great games, all of a sudden you're going to go and see the console share shift in some dramatic way. We lost the worst generation to lose in the Xbox One generation, where everybody built their digital library of games. 90% of the people every year who walk into a retailer to buy a console are already a member of one of the 3 ecosystems. Their digital library is there. But I think that's a weird comment because I'm like a Twitch streamer. Maybe I'm a little bit more of a gaming enthusiast. But for me, I want to go and say that I'll buy everything. You give me a good excuse to buy an Xbox, I will. I'm already on a Game Pass. So I hit all 3 targets. And I know a lot of folks, especially more hardcore gamers, they're in the same boat. For me, they understand that you can go and just do all 3. Why not? Like, you don't have to always have a competition where it's only PlayStation or only Xbox or only Nintendo. People are going to buy what they like. So once again, if you get really good games, you're going to go and get really good games. Like, people are going to go get your consoles. And it's kind of weird because they have like such a big defeatist attitude. I don't understand. Like, they're kind of basically giving up right now on the PlayStation. So given that people's gaming libraries are now made up significantly of digital games that move with them to new machines, the era of new console generations making a clear line in the sand have ended. People can now more seamlessly shift from platform to platform, at least within the same family, which makes it so difficult to convince people to switch. Even if Starfield is the best game ever, that won't be enough for Xbox to overtake Sony, Spencer said. I see a lot of pundits out there who kind of want to go back in time where we all had these cartridges and discs and every new generation was a clean slate, and you could switch the whole console share. This is not how the world is we are in today. There is no world where Starfield's an 11 out of 10 and people start selling their PS5s. That's not going to happen. Now, once again, I do think in theory they could still turn around huge. If you go have 3 or 4 huge blockbusters, that's going to do great for sales. Look how the PS5 sales are whenever a new game's coming out. Like, look, for example, probably when Final Fantasy 16 comes out, there's probably be a huge influx of new folks wanting to go play the game because they love Final Fantasy. And that's what should have happened for Halo, and it probably kind of did. But once again, they haven't had a good follow-up, so a lot of folks who may have wanted to be a part of that are just, well, not going to. So what does Microsoft do then? Spencer said that the company has a unique vision in the marketplace where it doesn't focus exclusivity on a console platform, which is smart. You go, like, once again, on TVs, cloud sticks, phones, people on PCs, which has definitely been a growing influencer nonetheless, especially compared to like something like Steam being so big and not really having too much competition. So Microsoft is building an infrastructure that supports games across devices, including phones and tablets and streaming, and Microsoft wants to make games available on as many platforms as possible. The console is the core of the Xbox brand. No doubt. So we will stay focused on making sure that console experience is awesome. Some people want to hold us up and believe we are the better green version of what the blue guys do. I'm just going to go and say that it's not a win for Xbox and staying in the wake of someone else. We have to go off and do our own things as well. PlayStation 5 is nearing 40 million numbers right now. The Switch is at 122 million, and Microsoft so far, we've been hearing rumors around the 20 million mark or so, probably maybe like 25 million if you want to be on a high note, maybe 18 million if you want to be very depressed, probably like right in between like a 22 to 26 if you want to be very, very rough. So kind of just depending on the numbers because they don't report on them. So very intriguing. Like, it kind of seems like for them, they just realized like, hey, like, even if we make the best games, we can't compete. And I don't agree with that. I think if they really got their confidence back and they try their best to step on up, they'd be okay. But as well, we also have some little side stuff too, just in regards to all this, where if you guys missed it, the brand new Spider-Man game is coming out. We cover this on a separate video, but basically Spider-Man Remastered will be hitting the PlayStation 5 this month. So just in case you guys are curious, on this one, it's only a $10 upgrade premium for all that type of stuff. that's a big thumbs up for that one. So it's cool. I myself actually might go and get this because I'm kind of a little bit bored on some games out right this second. This might be a good excuse to go replay through Spider-Man right before the brand new game comes out later on, rumoredly for September. So very nice to go and see all of this if you guys want to go pick up the games. I think it's also $50 for Raw in case you guys missed it. As well, we also have a brand new Superman game that's actually now been apparently being hinted by Warner Brothers too as well. So basically Discovery CEO David Zaslav hints at a new Spider-Man game, Superman game that could accompany the release of James Gunn's upcoming new DC film. So maybe a simul release on this one. In their most recent earning calls, Warner Bros. Discovery CEO David Zaslav spoke about the power and flexibility of the company's video game profile. More specifically, Zaslav discussed how its wealth of wholly owned intellectual properties can be basically pushed everywhere, and they also mentioned maybe a brand new company IP and brand new game coming out too as well, stating, "We have a very good gaming business with 11 different studios and real talented capabilities, but the real differentiator for us as a company is that we own the IPs and we belong to it, and we can basically do whatever we want to do with it in the first place." So all around cool stuff at that. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch stream down below. We'll actually be doing a pretty cool Twitch stream as well this weekend, so follow for that one. I have all the Amazon links too, and I appreciate you guys all so much for watching here in the first place.